We are making a face cast using AccuCast 590. Grab a bucket filled with 4 ounces by weight of algenate and have a cup filled with 16 ounces by weight of water and set them off to the side. For a release, I'm using Brick in the Yard's Mold Supplies algenate release, but you can use Vaseline if you want. It's also very helpful to have all your plaster bandages cut up and ready to apply. You really don't want to have your model in a face cast any longer than absolutely necessary, so prep work is essential. I'm laying the strips out in order that I'm going to apply them to my face. This helps you to have a basic guide for the length in which you need to cut your plaster bandages. I'm also cutting a few extra strips and laying them in the middle because I find that there's always a few places on the plaster cast that needs to be reinforced. But don't open and cut up your plaster bandages unless you're absolutely sure you're going to use them, because they will absorb moisture from the air in the surrounding environment and it will ruin them. You also want to fill a bucket with warm water to dip your bandages in. Set that off to the side. Now you want to grab your algenate release and start rubbing it generously all over the area that you're making a mold of. I'm putting a large amount in my hair because I want my mold to go back pretty far, but I recommend wearing a bald cap because my hair got stuck in the algenate anyway, and it ripped out a large portion of my casting when I removed the cast. Making sure you get the release all through your eyebrows and eyelashes. You don't want them stuck in your mold. Wipe your hands off and grab your measuring cup. Pour 16 ounces of water, like I should have already had done. Then pour the water into your bucket of algenate and start stirring. You now will have 5 minutes to stir and apply before the algenate sets up. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of water at a time until I get a pancake-like consistency. You can tell if you need more water because it will look so dry like biscuit dough, but just add a tablespoon or 2 at a time. Once you have the right consistency, you can start applying it to your face. Just stir it up a little bit. Make sure you scrape the sides. There you go, pancake-like consistency. All right. I start at the top and work my way down, being sure to have an even layer all over my face. I'm pulling the algenate down the sides of my cheeks, making sure you get a large dollop of algenate right in your eye, too. That's super important. Just kidding. Don't do that. It's extremely unpleasant. Keep adding algenate around your face, avoiding your eyes and nostrils. You're going to have to constantly keep pulling the algenate away from your eyes and out of your nose, because until the algenate sets, it's very runny. So just keep working it till it starts to feel like it's forming a solid. I keep smoothing the algenate and returning the runoff back to the top of my head. Gravity is a heartless bitch. So just keep moving the algenate around and adding more till it starts tugging on your tool. You want to have a pretty thick casting so there are no weak spots on your mold. Be aware of any areas on your face that can create air pockets, like any creases, your lips, between your nose and your cheeks. Press into those areas so you know you have a consistent layer. Smooth out the drips that pour down off the chin area. You don't want those in your final product. And if you don't smooth them out now, they will cure in that shape, and cutting algenate that is attached to you or a model is not an option because you could cut into the flesh. People often ask why you need to use the algenate, and couldn't you just put the plaster bandages right onto your face and make a mold that way? No, absolutely not. Plaster heats up a lot while it's curing. You'll burn yourself pretty badly. Plus, algenate catches detail of your face that plaster bandages can't. So I'm just going to keep adding these all over. You want to dip your bandages quickly into your bucket of water just once, then apply it quickly to your face mold. I'm starting at the top and working my way down the sides of my cheeks. I use the bottom strap to hold the 2 side pieces together. I'm making sure to fold an inch of my bandages on the side, creating a seam that I position towards the outside of the cast. This ensures I have no sharp edges on my final mold. Place a strip under your nose and smooth it out, making sure your airway is not obstructed. Place a strip across your forehead and then put a few strips under your eyes. To reinforce the area over your nose, take a strip that's about 6 inches long, double it up, and give it a little twist. Find a comfortable way for this to sit over your nose without suffocating yourself. Please make sure you can breathe. I'm taking another piece, placing it softly under my eyes. Here's where I take the piece. I'm dipping it in the water, and you'll watch. I give it a little twist, and then I just comfortably place it, making sure I still can breathe. I'm going to keep it away from my eyes too. I just use more water on my fingertips to kind of smooth out the plaster bandages wherever. Set a strip across the bottom of this one and on the bottom as if you were taping down the edges to hold it across your nose. Keep molding the bandages to conform to your alginate. When you feel you have a good rigid structure, run your fingers over your mold, ensuring nothing is sticking up or coming undone, and smooth out all the plaster all around your mold. Now you can mix up a very small amount of alginate. I used a tablespoon of alginate to 1.5 tablespoons of water. I'm just filling in my eyes, trying to push the alginate into air pockets. No matter what you do, there will still be a little bit of an air pocket where the two mixtures met up. So this isn't the ideal way to get a face cast, but it's a stopgap solution if you absolutely have to do it yourself. Take a deep breath after 5 minutes and blow out gently through your nose. And then blow out through your nose. This will break the seal inside of the alginate, and you should be able to just pull the mold right off. You can see on mine where there's alginate missing from my hairline. Now take your remaining plaster and cover the eyes with plaster bandages. You want to reinforce that area as well, and do it very, very well. Make sure there's nowhere that the plaster can seep through. Now take your remaining fill a bucket with 2 inches of water, then keep adding ultra-cal plaster into the water, a handful at a time, until the top looks like a dried up riverbed, or until you can put powder in the water without the powder absorbing it, and you can place an even layer of powder on the surface of the water without any of the water showing through. Here I'm just stirring, scraping the sides, making sure everything is thoroughly mixed. I'm using a rubber spatula. Set your cast somewhere it will not move. I kind of made a little bed for mine. I tucked a couple of rolled up washcloths in a bucket and then set it on there. Pour in a small amount of ultra-cal and then take a brush, a paintbrush or a chip brush, and brush the plaster all around the inside of the mold. This is to break any surface tension and get rid of any air pockets. Pour the rest of your ultra-cal into the mold and set it overnight. When you peel off the plaster in the morning and the alginate, you should have a final mold that looks just like your face. Apparently, we forgot to take a picture of our final product, so what you get is a picture of my face cast that has already been used. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe and hit that like button.